Yo, Tubi done stepped up their game, Tracy G. Tubi done stepped up their game.
Yup.
Tracy D, would you Tracy G do the honors of who we got here today?
Yeah, let me tell you, it's not only like the Tracy G of today that's here. Like my teenage Tracy self is also here,
man.
and she is having a ball because she always watched this woman on television and took note of her incredible communication skills. Took note of her decorum, of how she's able to weave in and out so beautifully with these guests, and also how she's been able to evolve.
Yes.
Past 106 in Park, where many of us were first introduced to her, but she's also been a correspondent for GMA.
Yes.
She's also been a correspondent, still is getting paid when it comes to Entertainment Tonight.
Yes.
We've seen her also, we think about how the podcast industry is so oversaturated, but she has still been able to stand out.
Thank you.
And now she is the co-host alongside our guy Deion Sanders of the new show. You called it on Tubi, Sway. We got time today. Rocsi Diaz.
What up, Rocsi?
And fun fact, Rocsi and I are birthday twins. And November
What?
17th.
Are you a Scorpio too? Wait,
And a Scorpio 3.
Oh, we had this conversation though. I believe like the last time that we was
came
up there,
up
the
here.
whole Scorpio situation. So yeah, but I didn't know we were birthday twins.
I know,
You were up
crazy.
here?
I love it. Not up here. I was in New York. I'm still getting used to this situation.
What you think? Look it over, Roxy.
This is in. I'm happy. I'm so happy for you, and I appreciate the beautiful introduction. Honestly, I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. But I learned from the best at the end of the day.
Come on, don't do that.
He really is.
I learned from
Yeah.
the best.
Yeah.
I had to watch somebody.
Yeah.
figure out how to
We
do-
all did.
How to figure out how to do this stuff. So you're the icon and legend when it comes down to it.
Well,
so I learned from the best.
Listen, coming from you, I just got goosebumps hearing that.
I
because
can't. There's no way.
Well,
Between you and Angie Martinez, it's my blueprint to how to do this stuff.
Wow.
It's you guys, honestly.
Wow, Heather, you hear that? You
Well,
yell at me every
no,
day.
I'm glad. No, I'm good. Yeah, because I don't deal with him.
I
Roxy.
feel you. That's how I feel about Deion too. I'm like, they were like, oh my gosh, Deion Sanders. I'm like, man.
That's exactly. So our Scorpio connection connects
Yes,
for
totally.
real. Me,
I
you, and Tracy
understand.
can share that. But Sway and I were talking with someone the other day from Billboard magazine, and he asked Sway what was the highlight of his career, one of the highlights, and what is it like working with Sway. And Sway took a minute to try to figure out one of the many highlights in his career. And I was like, Mackenzie, look, you have to realize this is a man from Oakland, California, who grew up in a time where, you know, your mom and your dad, they told you, go to school, get the education. Maybe one day you could be the first black president of the United States. But this man actually sat in the office with the first black president of the United States. And I don't care what kind of prayers your grandmama pray or your mama or your great grandmama, that's just not in the cards to pray that prayer that one day my child will sit in the office, in the Oval Office with the first black president of the United States. You don't even know
Come
the
on,
how.
Roxy, you
His
know.
first term.
His first term. And
Yeah.
so we get to share that, the words as you said, we get to share that with him every day. And sometimes I have to remind him, like, bruh, you people know you and everything, but take a minute sometimes and embrace these blessings that God has put on you, because you have made monumental moves in front of generations. You know, like that's a real thing. Y'all have touched.
And I can still touch the backboard.
Now, Sway,
That's
I
crazy.
gave you
Now,
a
hold on.
compliment,
That's
then
crazy.
you
I'm
reach.
just
Even
saying
I
that.
can't walk in the heels like I used to.
No, for real.
You ain't touching the backboard.
Oh,
No,
thank
no,
you,
no,
Roxy.
no, no.
Roxy, don't drink that Heather B.
No,
Kool-Aid.
Wait.
I need you to have faith in
Wait.
me. You just gave me a pound.
Well, I hear what you're saying, because on a episode of More to the Story, my podcast, my best friend literally poured into me exactly what you're saying, and saying that I don't take the time. It's challenging for us to look at it, because I feel like we still grinding, like we still every day trying to figure out, okay, how, what next? I feel like we come from an era of what's next.
Yeah.
And a lot of them today are like, I'm popping right now. This is going to be always, and don't understand the what's next. You know? And so it's challenging to like sit back and be like, oh, this was a great moment, or this was a great moment, because I feel like I have so many great moments.
Let's
coming.
practice it,
So-
though.
Right.
Let's do it with you.
I'm trying. What?
Right now.
What?
Let's talk
I'm
about
trying.
what was when I sat. Let's say, for example, when I sat with President Obama, his first term in the Oval Office, that hadn't been done through our culture live on TV. To your point, I had to learn all the policies, 75 pages of policy. I was super duper prepped, so prepped that afterwards it never sank in till years later.
Wow.
Do you have a moment like that in your career?
It was with Obama.
With Obama. Come on.
Wow.
Come on.
That'll be the one to do it.
Yeah, it was we didn't realize, because for the first administration and the second administration, 106 was very heavily on the Rock the Vote campaign.
That's right.
Right.
And so we were out campaigning. We were on the road. Didn't get the opportunity to meet him in person in the first I'm blanking right now.
Term?
During the first term. Thank
yeah.
you. During the first term, they zoomed into 106 and Park at that time. The second term, I was privileged enough to sit down, got chosen by former First Lady Michelle Obama to interview her and Dr. Biden as well at the time, before she was she was VP First Lady. And that was when I got to be invited to the White House and see him, and that was the first time ever. And it wasn't there for him. You know how they bring you into the corner room, and then you do all the business right here, then you got to move on to the next room. And I'm sitting there, I hear this commotion outside, and I'm like, he's outside that door. And I was so mad, and because I knew I couldn't, because Secret Service is looking like all the people in here, like, tackle. I can't move. Right.
Tackle you.
and I was just like, man, I did so much for the first and second term, going campaigning, wrote it, and never met him. And one of the butlers there overheard me telling somebody my story, and next thing you know, I had somebody just putting his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, "What up, little lady? What up, Roxy?" And I'm like,
It was him.
"Oh my!" It was him. He came into the room just to say hi to me, and I was just like, That's how cool he was. And then from there, being, mind you, at Entertainment Tonight, not at 106 at that point, at Entertainment Tonight, and having the White House call and say, and I'm not the host. But, and you know, all the people's up there, they're like, well, we can send this. And they're like, we want Rocsi Diaz to come and interview us because we understand she understands us.
Yes.
That was the biggest honor I could have ever had, to be chosen like that. And I'm not even at that time, I'm not even a host. I'm just a correspondent.
Yeah.
I had to learn the ropes all over again when I was at ET.
How so?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Because, you know, you're the star when you're TRL. You were 106 in Park. You know, you're the star. I got to Entertainment Tonight. The white people didn't care anything about 106 in Park. They never even heard of it. They didn't even realize I had 8 years of live television experience before being there. They just knew I was popular.
Yeah.
They didn't realize why.
They didn't know why.
But then my audition for Entertainment Tonight,
I was gonna ask if you had to audition.
I did have to audition, but my audition was to interview Denzel. I said, y'all picked the right one. I said, just don't say that it's me walking in. And that his publicist, nobody knew that it was me doing the interview. And that was my audition, was to interview him for Flight, I think it was. And I walked in, and he was like, man. And then literally the whole audition, he was like, I can't even talk to you right now because it's Rocsi. Like I can't talk to you. I'm like, well, you need to talk to me because this is an audition.
This is an audition, right?
I need your help. But it was because of that audition I got that job.
And see,
but that's just because of this. Because of the culture.
Community.
It's
The culture.
because we take care of each other, and we continue. The stars that were our 106 and Park stars, our TRL stars, are now like the A-list stars now.
Yeah.
Amen.
So it's like, and it doesn't change. So we just all grow up, and we keep on seeing the same faces. And although other people won't understand why we popping, we've been popping.
We've been popping.
Y'all
Say
just
that.
now getting y'all late.
Y'all new to the pop off.
We already
Shut
been.
up.
Let me ask you
We've been
this.
popped out.
Yeah, we've been
before
popped out.
Kendrick.
So I had a similar experience stepping outside of the MTV networks where I thought everybody saw the Obama interview, right? I thought everybody saw, you know, hottest MCs, all the different things. We Rap Fix, streaming live, all these different things we created. And a lot of people did not see that. And so you almost got to humble yourself. And I think that's a part of the game that folks don't really understand all the time. Like, it's nothing wrong with going, oh, man, they don't know who it is. it gave me vigor to show and prove.
1,000%.
Right?
I'm gonna show you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna show you better than I can tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,000%. I agree.
Let me ask you this. We always see the highlights and hear about the highlights, but I've had some faux pas. I've messed up live on TV, right?
Human, you got to.
So there was one time I did this New Year's Eve. I've never even talked about this New Year's Eve special, and I was hosting it in Times Square live on a major network for this brand. And all I had to do was say this one line: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh man!
And I messed up the line and accidentally said the competitor's name.
I did that.
Tell me about it. What happened?
I did that during my audition for 106 and Park.
You said TRL?
I said Pimp My Rides because we had Exhibit. And Exhibit was like, you know we on BET, right? I'm like, oh, my God. Like, the most fumbling that could have ever happened was the hell week that they put us through when they were trying to be a DJ who wants to be a VJ.
Okay, yeah.
But for us, it was New Faces at BET. And that hell week they put us through, it was like there was 10 of us at the time trying out. And then it was like, do a man on the street, do an interview, go live on 106, different challenges that they would give us throughout the week. And then, mind you, they plucked us out of obscurity, all of us. Like, we did try out the first round. So I had only did a man on the street. So I was there from Monday only doing one man on the street thing to Friday. They had nothing on me. I did nothing. And so they're cramming everything on me on that Friday. So I had a pre-interview before going live on 106. Mind you, did radio before 106 and Park and everything like that.
Roxy on your radio.
Come on.
Radio. No, yeah.
That too.
Roxy yep. That too. I should get all of this stuff. Man. Ludacris was supposed to be the person that I interviewed on 106 and Park. So I'm texting Chris. I'm like, yo, got it in the bag. This is going to be great. They taped 2 shows that day. Chris was the earlier show. I was the live show. So it wasn't Chris.
Wow.
And they switched it to Exhibit. Fine. Cool. Not a problem. But before that, I had to interview Jim Jones.
Okay.
For me, I'm like, I just saw you in Chicago. This is perfect. Dipset was just there. We were just promoting the album, camera, all of the things. I was like, this is gonna be great. They told the artists to give us a hard time because they wanted to see what we would do under pressure. Let me tell you though, last person you want to be interviewing, giving you a hard time is Jim Jones. Shoot me. Just shoot me. And he was high and he just laying back and just zero F's given,
Not giving
right?
you nothing.
Nothing. And I'm like, yo, but you like
you
know me. I just saw you two giving me nothing. And I was boiling. Like I let him get to me. And I was like, okay. I said, well, whoop-de-whoop, since you don't want to talk about your album, let's talk about what everybody else wants to talk about. Where was you when your mans got shot at Howard University? Because they said you dipped. And everybody looked at me. Jim got out of character then. He's like, yo, get this. And I said, I don't care. And I ripped my mic off and I walked out. I was like, I don't care. Like, what's the point if you don't want to interview?
You did that live?
It wasn't live TV.
Okay,
it was like in a control room like situation, pre-tape thing. But right after that, I had to go live on 106. So now I'm flustered. I didn't know at the time. Jim told me later that when I walked out the room, he was like, yo, she the one. Like, she the one. And I had no idea about that. He told me years later. Walk out of there. Now I got to get thrown onto 106 and Park Exhibit. Wow. Then the Pimp My Ride.
Pimp My Ride.
Yeah.
Yo, you was
all
just...
in one
What
day.
a day.
And that's Reginald Hudlin's words exactly.
What?
You had a hell of a day, huh? I'm like, just tell me I didn't make it right now. Let me go back to Chicago and keep doing radio. I was shocked.
But what's
they were like,
what's the learnable lesson that you took away from that what a day though?
Even when you think you're doing the worst, somebody's looking at you and seeing your best, to be honest with you.
Come on, man. I love that. You got to pick it back up, huh? And look at you now, right?
And he said, he was like, you didn't fold. You didn't fluster. You kept it moving. And I attach that to radio, to be honest. I always
that.
tell everybody that radio really is the I know people want to jump on TV, jump on the gram, do live things. I'm like, man, learn the foundation of something first. And I had the privilege to do street team, produce, work the boards. Then I got to crack the mic. You know, overnights, just liners, weekends. Then you get a shot to, you know, get a full-time gig if you're blessed like that. And that radio, really, everything. I test everything the radio.
Yes, indeed. And that's that I too contribute that to the sustainability, the longevity, because you got those basic fundamentals. People
1000%.
Going up and down like roller coasters, but your trajectory has just been constant and consistent. Rocsi Diaz is here. We're talking about the new show on Tubi. We got time today.
Yes, sir.
With Deion Sanders. Okay, so compare Deion to Terrence J to Bow Wow.
No. Well, as co-host, I've never had to work with Bow Wow.
Okay.
But Bow and I always say Bow is amazing, and I always tell him, you know, it's my idea to Mr. 106 Apart become the host of 106 Apart, but I can't take all the credit, but I did say it in a meeting.
Okay.
No,
so
Terrence.
take that, Stephen Hill.
Right. He knows. I remind him all the time. Terrence J and I have still to this day a special bond because at the end of the day, nobody, and I won't even say Free and AJ because they started with 106, so they got to be there at the very, very beginning, right?
Yeah.
But now you're talking about. Nobody has ever had to go from literally nobody knows you onto the biggest show on a network. And now that's your pressure. And come behind two household megastar names.
Yeah.
So Terrence and I's bond is different because we really had to go through that together. And we're like, whether they like us or not, we here. We at least here for 3 years because that's what the contract said.
That's what the contract said.
And it ended up being 7.5 years. So it was, you know, it was a blessing. We had a lot of growing that we went through together. That's just different. So I couldn't even the love I got for TJ and what we was able to build our foundation in television with 106 and Park, which I'm super grateful for, is completely different. Deion is a star.
Yeah.
Deion is a star. It is his world, and we just live in it.
Okay.
And he is phenomenal of a person, of a human being, of like a big brother. Can talk to him about anything. We'll joke. He jokes and has fun. And I think that We Got Time Today shows a side of Deion that's not Coach. Even though we all call him Coach on the set too, but it's Deion like being him and really letting his guard down many times, and you're just getting an authentic version of him, not a reality show version. I'm talking about like a professional talk show, opinionated black man who is an icon and has done things that nobody has ever done in the world of sports or just in general. So,
think he's the greatest athlete of all time?
Well, I have to
think about that.
No, because then Uncle Mike might get mad at me, you know.
Uncle
MJ.
Jordan? Oh, yeah, okay, my bad. Let me take that question back anyway. I don't want him to get mad at me.
That won't make the video.
No.
Dumb question. All right.
But I love that you mentioned that we get to see a different side of him because we know him as a superstar athlete and as a coach. And it's like, okay, where's the human?
Yeah.
And it makes me think about this evolution of media where, you know, some decades ago, a host didn't have to really insert their personal life.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't
Remember
about
them
what
days.
was going on. Yeah.
We come from that.
Remember them days.
But now, you know, with the inception of the personal brand, with folks having an emotional attachment, you know, to whomever they're viewing, it's like, okay, bringing some vulnerability to the airwaves or to the camera. Is that something that was ever challenging for you to embrace? And I say that Scorpio to Scorpio because we love our privacy.
I'm a very private person when it comes to me personally and my family, because I always say that I chose this, they didn't, so I protect my family at all costs. I never, like, my mom is the only one that's cool with being on the gram or, you know, getting the shout outs and being on TV with me, but other than that, nobody else. But we come from that era, though. I wasn't opinionated on 106 and Park. I say this, with all respect of my career, but we were puppets. We were teleprompters. We had questions. We did this. No opinion. On radio back then, you had to bias. You didn't this team or whatever. No. Everybody's a winner, right? So now, even at Entertainment Tonight, it was very, very, very strict. They have a mold of how they did that show.
Yeah.
I think when I got to really like play at like E, and then even at HLN and CNN, and then grow a little bit more, and then they started becoming the normal, like, oh no, we want somebody that shows personality. You can be fun, you can be this, because I was always taught that even on the show We Got Time Today, like, I take care of the business part. I make sure those ad sales are read. I make sure, we go to commercial when we're supposed to go to commercial. And Deion's the star. Know your role. Like, it's Deion's show. I'm not trying to be the star. This is Deion's world. So you get in where you fit in. And I think to answer your question, like, you can always still be opinionated respectfully to people, because it still come from that training. But you can still be private at the same time too. Word. And no comment is a hell of a statement. Or I don't want to answer this.
Come on.
Can you remind the people really quickly of the benefits of privacy? Because I think we've forgotten that. We hear about the benefits of being outspoken. What are the benefits of privacy?
I just feel like I already share so much of my life, and being public and being on TV, and and I'm not a celebrity like that, but I already share so much of me. I want something for myself. Whether that's my faith, whether that's a relationship, whether that in my family, like whatever that is, I just let me have something for me, because it ain't everybody's business. I'm not a reality show girl. I don't need to share everything with everybody.
It's great to hear. I see you nodding, HB. That's so great to hear, because I'm like that too, the same way.
Yeah, like, why are you posting somebody you just started dating for 2 months and then y'all break up, and then why are you airing out business, and the laundry and all of the things happening on air? Why are you doing that? I mean, now, mind you, if that's your role on a show, then that's your role on the show. But we've even seen recently with people that we know very, very well dealing with a very public situation with their show. And I'm like, yo, what is happening? What happened to, first of all, the higher ups? Yeah. You're not looking at the bigger picture. Most of the time, people are airing things out and they're running off of emotion. And the problem is you can't take that stuff back. It's out.
Take it back.
You can't take it back.
It's out there. Rocsi Diaz had to be. I see you nodding right. I almost high-fived her right there.
I love it.
Come on, man. You got to keep something to yourself.
Yeah, you got to.
Okay, then I want to ask you this next question.
She ain't got to answer, though.
I don't.
No comment.
Right. I don't. I have a crazy way of being able to answer and not answer.
Oh, really?
I think I learned that from Fifth.
50? Yeah, 50's great at it, right?
He is amazing at it.
I'm curious, though. You've worked so hard, and we do come from that grind first era. I didn't realize how many things I neglected until one year I stopped and looked back, and I saw photo albums at my family's house for years past, and I wasn't in any photos, right?
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, that bugged me out. That's when I start coming back and forth to the West Coast more often to see my grandmother, see my mother, be around my little cousins, because I want to be a part. I didn't want the business to suck in all those moments.
Sway.
Are there things that you feel like at one point, damn, I was neglecting? I have this success on one side, but the dichotomy is these things I didn't have.
I think because as a woman in this industry, you're all going to say maybe because I never got married or had children. But honestly, the way things are, God has a reason of making your path. And maybe that just wasn't my road. Or it may still be. I mean, I'm not counting it out. But it is challenging to sustain relationship, relationship in this business and doing what we do and working so hard, because it takes a toll. It takes a toll. Something has to give. So, but I don't feel like I missed anything that was extremely important, because my mom lived with me pretty much half of the year.
Okay.
Back and forth from Egypt to New York when I was doing 106. So my mom was always there for me, and she's still always there for me. And I would always go back and forth, Dallas, New York to go see my dad and my brothers and everything like that. My family was always so close, so I don't feel like I missed out. So I think the only thing that ever was probably that suffered was me never really getting in, a real relationship or married or kids and stuff like that. But I don't regret it.
Nah.
Like I don't regret it.
Yeah, and we still going.
Yeah.
HP, I see you nodding. You want to jump on?
No, because Kalani asked me about that the other day. We were having a conversation with our production assistant here, and he said to me, we're talking about my husband and I, we don't have any children. And I said, Kalani, I would definitely have to say I chose professionalism over parenthood.
Yeah.
And it was a conscious decision because at the time, you had to be available. I don't know if that makes sense to a lot of people,
1000%.
but you had to be available. If somebody called you, whether it's a show or audition, whatever it is, a lot of times maybe not the best person got selected, but the most available person got selected. And you learned how to take advantage of your opportunities then. And so then when I did meet someone and we got married and now celebrating, 24 years of marriage, when now you start
this never
life.
had a job that long either.
You know what?
I'm just saying.
It's funny. It's true.
This is what we deal with.
Yeah.
You already know that we deal. Yeah, but this is what we deal with. Yeah, just Deion's world, Sway's universe. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. You just stuck and you
terrorizing
got and I asked to quit every day and he says no.
No, you can't go nowhere.
Then he moved next door to me. Actually, not even across the hall from me. Right? Yeah.
Somebody got to eat that cooking.
He's like, I'm doing this strategically.
all strategy. But yeah, you look back and I was like, now you start a life with someone and then you still working. So you realize, okay, like the kid thing, the this to that. But to your point, God has, if you follow your steps and you do accordingly, you find peace in it.
Yeah,
at some point. So yeah, I was shaking my head in agreement with what Rocsi was saying for sure.
Rocsi Diaz, you are a true asset to our community,
to
our culture,
to
entertainment, journalism, broadcast journalism. Across the board, you have represented us tremendously.
I really appreciate that.
And I've watched
coming from you. That's huge.
Well,
so
listen, it ain't coming lightly because you come from a certain era. I obviously was around even before those eras.
Yeah, way before.
So whatever,
crazy.
Roxy.
Y'all had analog radio when you was doing it.
That's crazy. I was on an AM channel.
8 tracks.
Yo, but we used to run the commercials in 8 tracks.
Yeah. Them decks. No, we didn't. No, I was already digital by that time I got it.
Okay.
I was already digital.
But having seen and having watched people along the lines, you're somebody, how you hold. I thank you for what you said about Angie Martinez.
Oh, man.
Shout out to Angie.
Always.
She gets tired of me. She's like, Roxy, can you just be regular on me? Like, no, I can't because you're my hero.
I feel the same way about her because we were functioning on parallel coasts, and having all these different experiences.
Back when you would battle each other, too, because you weren't friends with extra radio people back then. Like,
we was taking everybody down.
You were enemy. Like, oh, my God, radio battle
sometimes on the
days.
same channel. You could work at the same station and they was beefing.
Yep.
Radio was very, very competitive.
Very competitive.
Yeah, I was competing from the West Coast. I was competing with High Night Flex and all of them.
Yeah.
But it never went too far.
No,
it was like friendly competition or like competition?
In the Bay, I've had physical confrontations in the Bay.
Dallas radio
that went
was
too
like
far.
That. Yeah. It was like it's so weird.
Yeah, it was
like,
the norm.
why were we doing that? It was so stupid.
We had
it was the energy at the time.
We don't own the station. We just work there.
We had no stake in it.
Right.
They didn't care, and then I realized that. But I've watched you, and I want to say thank you because you're upholding a powerful tradition.
Thank you.
Right, and you're doing it the right way. Continue success with your new show. We Got Time today on Tubi.
Yes.
And thank you, Rocsi Diaz.
Thank
man.
you
You're
so
amazing.
much.
Come on. Anything you want to say in closing?
Oh, no, just check us out, man. Deion Sanders, once again, Deion, myself. We Got Time today. Tubi is free. It is free for us, y'all.
Okay.
It is. Download it right now. Check it out. We have amazing guests that come up there.
Yeah.
We just had Nick Cannon. It was so much fun. We're wrapping up season 1. God willing, we're going to start season 2 as soon as Coach figures out, because he's a coach.
Yeah.
He'll remind you he's a head coach.
Got some other jobs.
He got a lot of jobs. So, but
you guys just had Clarissa Shields.
We just had Clarissa Shields. and Nick and
You asked
Dr.
Nick,
Joy
did
Bryant.
he want to add another branch to his tree?
Just figured, like the man don't stop. So I'm just like, yeah, he's hilarious. We had Dr. Joy Bryant was really good. Ice Cube, Leslie Jones, just so many names.
It's a good array.
We
Yeah.
had a lot of people
That's
up there.
diverse.
Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
You
been
need to
fun.
get Heather B on there.
Hey.
Y'all need to come over there. Y'all need to come.
Yeah, let's do it. Come on, it's culture.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All three of us will come. Nobody's ever done that.
Where do you guys do the show?
We do the show in Deion's work. We do the show in Boulder. We actually
Colorado?
We do the show in
Wow.
Boulder,
we might not
Colorado.
make it.
Nah, Colorado's so gorgeous.
Oh my gosh.
It's beautiful. It is beautiful. But we'll make it happen. We'll fly y'all out there.
Let's do it.
Y'all
Okay.
come
Let's
on
do
out.
it. That would be
Roxy,
dope.
you baller?
Yeah, no,
I see the
no,
hookup.
no.
Okay, you know ballers.
There's a talent department,
Right.
and United Airlines flies. Right.
Roxy handles business.
All right. Okay. Heather is always first class. Keep that in mind.
Okay.
Okay.
And so are you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Let you be on.
I got Sway his
Coach.
job at MTV.
This is true.
I just put that out there.
Okay.
You know how you,
Technically, yeah.
Oh.
you know how you had to tell Stephen Hill it was your idea with the
That one.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
remind
We'll
them.
talk, Roxy.
Heather definitely open. Heather got us all jobs at MTV.
That part.
Right.
How about that?
You got it with Real World that first season. She made it possible for all of us.
That's crazy.
Folks didn't think we were viable or we could be a viable force in TV that people would appeal to us or vice versa.
Roxy said something funny initially, and just to touch on that really quickly. So that first season was in '92. They had no idea that I was rapping in '90 with Boogie Down Productions and KRS-One. They just kind of didn't care, to your point. And then doing Real World in '92, and as he said, it was the first of its kind. Getting off that show, because it was such a success in a different culture and community, they had no idea about my rap. Because why do you want to rap? It's like I started rap.
Why you
Come
Catch
get an
up.
agent. Come do this. So it was like the opposite for me, in a sense, because for a lot of people, my breakout was MTV, but I started in hip hop, and I always wanted to hold on to that. So it's weird how we have to learn to adjust and juggle in this industry, because opportunities come and you got to figure out your hats.
You have to evolve. You
Yeah.
have to evolve.
Figure out
Everybody's
your
like,
hats.
you don't sound like you did on 106. No, I
Facts.
don't, because I'm on Good Morning America now,
Hello.
and we will, whatever you want to call it, it's called evolving.
Yes.
And adjusting
Growth.
and growth, and
Mm-hmm.
there's certain places for certain things.
Yeah.
And we just got to understand that it's not code switching. It's evolving and growing up. So
There you go.
So, yeah.
Black tie means black tie. Cocktail means cocktail.
Right, and
Okay.
red cup means
Formal
red
music,
cup.
red cup, we know what it is.
We know what it is.
Right.
Dress
Man.
accordingly,
Dress
honey.
accordingly.
Okay, I like to do red cup in there. Give it up for Roxy Diaz.
Right. Thank
Love
you for
you.
having me.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yes, thank
I
you
mean,
for
now that
pulling
you're on the
up.
West Coast, can't you do West Coast hours? This is early. What the hell? God, you know the way the 101 and the 405 be working. You can't be having people up here this early,
Come
man.
on, man. We start early, we finish early.
Lord
Come on. You got to know the
Jesus.
formula.
Yeah, because it's 8 to noon on the East Coast.
Oh,
That's
my
what it
God.
is.
And
That
we
was 5
broadcast
and 9.
everywhere.
I'ma
Yes,
see y'all in New York
live.
next time.
Okay, next time. All right.
Roxy
Give it up for
killing it.
Roxy Diaz.
Bye,
Man,
bye,
I gotta
bye.
love it.